It's cold and it's windy, and if you don't mind, I'm going to not be the longest today. But here we are at Carrow Road. Norwich City have beaten Reading 3-2. It's their first victory in 7 games, I think, off the top of my head. I might have got that wrong. And kind of feels like it has been a while coming, that winning feeling. But likewise, this is Norwich City, and they had to make life rather complicated for themselves, being 3-1 ahead for the second Saturday on the trot, yet conceding just after the second half, into the second half, just after half time, and all of a sudden the nerves are jangling, and that emotional response that maybe comes from detachment from the actual objective reality of the game creeps in. But in fairness, I think what we can say is that in the first half, Reading were abysmal defensively and conceded twice from set pieces, and Norwich had a bit of cutting edge to them, but likewise Reading kind of caused their own problems, very similar to the game here 12 months ago, when of course Reading were done 6-1 at half time and went on to lose 7-1, and it was an embarrassing result for a side that was really pushing for promotion. This time they looked pretty wobbly at the back, yet this is a side that is fighting for their own survival, which, in credit to Reading, is why in the second half we saw some fight. They were pretty decent going forward for much of the game, and that attacking ability that they've got may well keep them just about out of trouble, but they have to be a little bit careful, I think, that they don't get wrapped up. Jaap Stam didn't do the post-match press conferences. I don't know if that was a conscious thing or for any other reason, but the visiting fans weren't particularly happy at the fact he brought off Liam Kelly in the second half, even though John Swift, who I think came on, looked very decent actually. Both him and Kelly were probably Reading's standout players. And you know, Reading showed a bit of fight to keep themselves in the match, and you know, could quite easily have managed to take a point from it, but they couldn't find that equaliser. And credit to Norwich, who did defend robustly for most of the game. And of course, fortunately, Norwich aren't in that position. Whilst they haven't got anything to play for going forwards in terms of higher up the table, they also are well clear of relegation danger, and that's probably the very minimum of what we should all be expecting. But it is also a reality that needs to be noted, given a lot of the transition that has gone on this year. I mean, Norwich are a curious mix, and this kind of was the epitome of where they are now, and why nothing's been kind of resolved this season in terms of them being able to push on one way or get dragged about the other, because they've got a lot of quality, and some of the football they played in the first half was excellent. Again, they played with a kind of a front three with Murphy wide on the left and Hernandez up wide on the right, and Dennis Shrabini playing in the middle, and as a three they offer quite a bit. Certainly the pace of Anel and Josh really does make its mark, and you can see that Josh is a lot happier playing in this role. And actually, having spoken to him after the game, he said it as much himself. He looks livelier because he loves playing in the role he's playing. Credit to Dennis, who was a lot more involved today. I mean, as I actually said to Phil Daly on the radio just before, he went from looking, to be honest, quite lost in the opening games to today when he wasn't lost. He contributed to the game. What he now needs to do is take a chance when it comes along. He had a golden one in the second half that he was put through and slotted beyond the far post when he really should have hit the target at the very least. It was a frustrating miss, because had he have scored that, I think this would have been an extremely productive day for him. But he did contribute, as I said, and Josh was probably my man of the match for how much he was involved and how much he created. He did excellently. Should we have some light? There we go. That's good. Well, you know, these things do happen. The lights have gone out on Norwich's season. Insert your joke here. Elsewhere on the pitch, I mean, I thought we did see Mario Vrancic played very well with the ball, but I thought we saw what is kind of a recognised struggle with Harrison Reed protecting the back line, in that he struggles with the physicality, and I think that is something that, you know, Norwich have kind of played despite this season. Actually does make you realise how well he's done at right back, because he's looked probably more comfortable there at times. So it's been a bit of a struggle. Referee Oliver Langford was pretty poor. He somehow inexplicably missed a terrible tackle from Sam Smith on Tim Closer within seconds of kickoff. His linesman was right in front of it as well. Neither even stopped for a free kick, and Closer had to have a bit of treatment on that, and later on took a bit of a blow. I think he blocked a cross with his, or shot with his face, and had to have his nostrils patched up with cotton wool to stop the blood flowing. So he was a bit in the wars today. A little bit of a quieter day maybe for the likes of James Maddison, but some of his teammates stepped up, so that was good. Nelson Oliveira on the bench as well. Marcus Edwards was on the bench too, something that Daniel Farke clearly intimated to me on Friday was going to happen. We didn't see him come on, and I think while the game was tight, we were never really going to see Daniel Farke trust Marcus Edwards in that game immediately. So there's still a long way to go there, but at least he's now been involved in a squad. We'll see how he gets on while he's away on international duty. Grant Hanley scored his first goal for the club, which was excellent. So that was good. James Maddison scored his third penalty in 3 games, and he is well clear of being as top scorer at the moment, and Josh Murphy is desperate to close on him before the end of the season, but not at the expense of wins, of course. And I think that's wrapped it all up, really. As I said, Liam Kelly and John Smith kind of, showed good signs for Reading, but they're going to be in a curious position for the rest of the season. While, and they, don't forget, they work 1 kick away from being in the Premier League this year. So for everything going on with Norwich City, we can at least be thankful we're not involved in a relegation scrap, and hope that what we're seeing at the moment is something that kicks on and is something they can build on for next year, regardless of all the changes and further transition we expect from the club when the summer hits and the parachute payments dry up. I'm going to stop this now because I can't feel my fingers. We'll see you after the international break. Enjoy your weekend without football.